He was an Uber driver, and he made the Yankees roster. Like, how did you feel in that moment with your former teammates celebrating such a special moment for Dwight?
Andy, it felt so good to celebrate Dwight, young Thundercat as I call him.
Do you feel that Calipari outcoached Patino in that game?
Oh, hands down.
Stephen A, backpedaling. I think it's soft.
Make your stand
Right.
and move. Let it die already. It's over, man. Everyone saw what happened. When do we get into the TMZ stuff?
Oh, man. But the story's coming out that Nikki Spoelstra, or Nikki Zap, is having relations with Jaime Jaquez Jr.
You guys are pleading the fifth without saying a word. Man, I got it, man.
Yeah.
Listen.
Airy on the narrative. Best in class, so pray for my peers. Slingshot bullet, it's clear. Your weak shots couldn't pierce through bulletproof ears. A martyr, a menace. I'm leading horses to drink and pulling teeth like I'm feeding the dentist. Airy on the narrative.
Welcome to another episode of The Crossover. Good to be back, fellas. I was on my hiatus with my wife.
That's right.
Gotta say I missed you guys, but you guys did a good job holding the fort. My boy Petey crushed it. Very enjoyable.
I think we're going to get him some real NIL money. I don't like you rest, man. We just come out flinging.
That's it. So talking about rest, we're on a short amount of sleep today. Last night we were at Dwight Howard's Hall of Fame induction celebration at the Hard Rock Cafe in Orlando. You were the host mediator for the podcast Above the Rim. So how was it, man? Like, how did you feel in that moment with your former teammates and celebrating such a special moment for Dwight?
Andy, it felt so good to see some of my former teammates, to celebrate Dwight, young Thundercat as I call him, just to see his evolution as a man, to see his smile, right? Because he's been through some hardships and things like that. So for me, man, it was really all about him, you know, celebrating his success, being supportive as a teammate. And it felt like the locker room again. Like we just got, you know, when we all got
I was about
together.
to say that, man. The love that you felt in that place, it was just sincere. Nobody was about their agenda.
Yeah.
Everybody was there just to enjoy themselves, celebrate Dwight, and really just fellowship, man.
Yeah,
between
man.
each other,
It's
man.
a beautiful thing. I think that's one of the biggest things as an athlete that you miss when you're not an athlete anymore is the locker room. Like it's a place where you could totally be free. The comedy that happens in there, the competition that happens in there, the shit talk that goes on in locker rooms, you can never really replicate that environment.
That's a beautiful thing about sports, right? Like, you know, I played high school sports, but if I see a teammate of mine I haven't seen in 15 years, like we haven't skipped a day.
Yeah, man. It's just like that. It's a bond. It's a connection. And then we've gone to battle together, right? You know, and a lot of things we experienced for the first time together. And we was making a lot of money during those times as well. So we got to see more than most.
Right. Yeah. I get it. Nevin, what do you think about the night last night?
I thought it was incredible, man. You know, I've been along the course of my journey. I've been at some, you know, pretty cool spots and this and that. And this was a little bit different for me. And, you know, you'd mentioned to me earlier, like, you know, man, you were sitting there pretty quiet, this and that. I was really just checking out the vibe, man. It was cool. You could just see Keyon and these boys. Like, it was just like dudes talking in a room. Like, yo, let's just chop it up. And it ain't, there's no NBA salaries and who was this and who was that. It was just down to earth, real cool. And, you know, I was really happy to be part of it. And it was great to witness, you know, from my vantage.
One of the things I was impressed with Dwight is how he worked the room and he spoke to everybody at a human level. Even the fans that they let in, he really spent time with them and gave his time to them and really enjoyed the conversation. And one particular fan brought a scrapbook of all his articles through his career in Orlando.
Yeah.
And you can tell Dwight really soaked that in. He spent at least 20, 30 minutes with this kid.
Yeah.
From my vantage point,
Yeah.
extending what you just asked me, that was something that really stood out to me. Dwight was a real man, a real down to earth human being, real cat, man, genuine. And it was, you know, everyone sees these professional athletes as like super gods and this and that. At the end of the day, man, they put their shoes on and clothes on the same way.
Yeah.
And man, he was just down to earth, and that was a really cool thing that I didn't expect because I had never met him before. And yeah, I took that in.
And for some reason, he thought you were 7'2".
Yeah. Big energy.
Because he must believe the hype.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
man. He's you could tell he's got a good heart, a special dude. A lot of life to him. Very high energy. He was high energy when he got there, through the podcast, and at the end. I mean, he kept that same energy level. And if you would have let him, I think he would have been there till midnight on that podcast.
Absolutely.
Because he was enjoying himself. He just loved. He was in the moment.
Yeah. And for him, I think it's really good too, because the way his situation ended in Orlando, you know what I mean? I feel like the fans chewed him up and spit him out.
Mm-hmm.
What he did for the city while he was there. I think he was an 8-time All-Star while he was there, 5-time All-First Team NBA, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year,
Mm-hmm.
led the team to the finals. He just ran into Kobe Bryant, right? But, when he left, it's like the city divorced him. And, to kind of see that reconciliation and the fans get that, engagement with him. I just felt good for him because I think he felt fulfilled in that moment.
Yeah, you can really see it, and it means a lot to him. In the city of Orlando,
Yeah.
means a lot to him, and that's where he got his start. Right? It's always like that first love that you have. You never forget it, and that's where he grew up a little bit after that situation, and you can just truly see it. All right, so switching topics a little bit here. March Madness, just wildness. You win 11-0 between that first day, right? That was that first day and second day.
The
first
first
day,
day, yeah.
Yeah, you were 11-0.
Yeah.
We got seven teams in the Sweet 16 from the SEC.
Correct.
So thoughts, Katie?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that the SEC was, coming through. I think they had 14 teams in.
Yeah.
So they already been playing like tournament style all the way throughout the season. So they're all battle tested. They're all talented. They're resourced up. So they have the pedigree, right, to be able to win this tournament. And it's just fun to see, man. I like that there's some sleeper teams who've been, kind of surprising people. But the SEC, man, is an extremely competitive conference. And they'll continue to do well in this tournament, though with Cooper Flagg healthy, I still think Duke is going to win it.
I'll tell you what, man. I've been watching Duke. Whoa, they're deep.
Yeah.
They're big. They play basketball.
Yeah.
They play it the right way. They're going to be a tough out.
Yeah, man. And the kid Proctor is just not missing from the
No,
three-point
he's
line.
not.
I
He's
think
not.
he's like his draft stock is going to improve.
And the most impressive thing of Cooper Flagg is the way he sees the court and where he puts guys in position to make plays.
Yeah.
He's incredible at that, along with every other aspect of his game.
And you know what's impressive? What Cooper's doing as well? He's showing his toughness by playing through that ankle injury.
Oh, yeah.
He's not grimacing.
No.
He's not, playing lethargic, right? He's still being Cooper Flagg, and he's giving other people an opportunity to play,
Agreed.
right? And so it's going to help them in the long run.
Yeah.
Couple of thoughts from the tournament. So, Katie and I had mentioned on our shows, SEC deep.
Mm-hmm.
Gauntlet of just murderers row. And last one standing will be there. Maybe it becomes an all-SEC final. But some of the things that I saw, the Gators really got pushed against UConn, back-to-back defending champ. And, you don't just knock out a back-to-back champ because you're showing up and you're the number one seed. UConn fought. They did what I thought they would do. And I think it takes a game like that. Everyone's got to go through that adversity-type game, and probably in a good way for Florida early on.
What I couldn't believe is that line was -9 Florida against the 9.5. And Dave Portnoy put a 50. Is it a 50,000? Lazo, can you check that out? Dave Portnoy, the bet that he put on is 50,000. I think he put on that.
And that's the danger when the public, Joe Public, loves something.
Joe Public.
Loves something, and Keyon knew that I'm a big Rick Pitino fan. I was cheering for St. John's, but I knew I was doomed.
Right.
I knew it because everyone else loved St. John's too.
Right.
You don't want to be on that train going right. You want to be going the other way from the public, and that's just they're gone.
Right.
And I think Arkansas becomes dangerous because now they're on house money and they got 2 in the bag. Calipari's been here before, and no one's expecting them to do shit.
Right.
And I just love teams that are on house money. And let's just go.
Especially in a tournament like this, right? Like when you're on house money, you're playing with the pressure off of you, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then that's where the magic happens.
Right.
You can make an Elite
Right.
Eight run, maybe a Final Four, maybe get to a final.
I mean, UConn did it twice in like 10 years.
Yeah.
And that was the type of runs those teams went on, and I love it. I love it, man. Arkansas, I may be on that Arkansas wagon now. I'm quick.
Do you feel that Calipari outcoached Patino in that game?
Oh, hands down, hands down. I mean, it was.
See, the problem with St. John, they don't shoot the ball very particularly well, and they were packing the middle.
Well, and they rely on the defense. And if they get behind, that's a tough deficit to come back from. They're not cut like that. They're not going on 15, 20.
Right, they're very
based on their offense. They're doing it based on their defense
is
turning you over.
Yeah. KD.
Yeah, I mean, with St. John's, when your best player doesn't play well,
3 for 17.
Yep, and struggles from the floor, it's going to be difficult for you to win, especially for a team who already has a difficult time putting the ball in the basket. They kind of rely on their defense and their continuity and their endurance to wear you down and grit and grind you out. So, yeah, it was going to be a tough situation for them to win. But the thing about March Madness that I really love is like the buzzer beaters, right? Yes. Derek Queen going left, coming off the wrong foot, to make that game winner and things like that. This is where kids fall in love with the game. This is where the old guard still gets that fresh feeling from when they fell in love with the game. And this is where superstars emerge and household names emerge, and you start following these youngsters throughout their career.
Well, that's where D Wade made his name, right?
Absolutely.
That deep run with Marquette.
Put it down on my Kentucky boys, man.
Yep.
He annihilated him.
Yep.
He never looked back from that moment on.
Yeah. You got to love it, man.
Absolutely.
It's great.
It's just such a fun time when it comes to college basketball this time
When
of
do
year.
we get into the TMZ stuff?
Oh, man. Your next transition.
How's that segue, man?
Really quick, Lazo, did you find out what Portnoy put?
He had put Florida by 25.
Yeah, but how much money did he put
It
on?
Doesn't really specify.
I think it was 50,000, if I'm not mistaken.
There's several bets here.
It's a piss in the bucket for him, anyways. But yeah, he put
It's an extra 15-second commercial spot.
All right, so let's transition to what you just mentioned. We don't like to speculate here, and we are not in the game of creating fake narratives because we are beyond the narrative here.
That's right. That's right.
But the story's coming out that Nikki Spoelstra, or Nikki Zapp, I believe is her maiden name, is having relations with Jaime Jaquez Jr., and she's liking his post and all that. To me, it's speculation. I hope, and I don't want to believe that this is true. But just in the world of being hypothetical, do you think she's getting back at him because he held the bag from her when he got his contract?
Being that I'm surrounded by two faithful, loving husbands. Let me take the lead on this shit.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. You got it.
You guys are pleading the fifth without saying a word. Man, I got it, man.
Yeah.
Listen, he should have really been more of a profit sharer in this situation when he got his bag, because she's asking for like 2 first-round picks. she's like turning up, man. Like, listen, I don't want to be politically incorrect, but the most expensive real estate in this world is only about 2 inches wide.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she's like,
I'll tell you what, man, women are vindictive.
Like she is singing "City Girls, where's the bag at?"
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man.
I don't know.
You guys don't have to say it. I'll say it. It's all right.
It's just it's a tough situation. Maybe that's why he hasn't been playing well this season. I don't know. But it begs the question, there's a maybe there, and who knows?
He's got conflicting interests, no doubt.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, you're in Miami, right? Like,
man,
can't go anywhere else.
I'm not.
Yeah, a lot of options out there.
I mean, this town will kill you, man. I'm just saying, man. I got 240 months to specify and document, man. Yeah, this place will eat you up. And
yeah, I honestly, for me personally, I have a hard time believing the story. Yeah. I don't think that kid would shoot himself in the foot like that. You're in an A-class organization. Spo's a good dude. Anybody that knows Spo, and you know Spo, like, he's a good dude.
Amazing.
Like, that dude don't deserve that. If this is true, which I don't think it is. And I hope that kid would be smarter, not falling into that trap. Because from her, I could kind of see her, women get vindictive when they're hurt or when they feel that you got them. and they do stuff like that. That's just the way the world works, right? But I hope in his case, man, because he does have a bright future in this game, that he doesn't shoot himself in the foot, because this can taint your whole entire career.
Absolutely.
It's just
Nobody knows the trouble I've seen.
KD. He's staying away from it.
Yeah, no. No, for me, man, I just don't even,
Entertain it.
yeah, I don't even entertain that. We live in a social media era right now. So, people like posts and things like that. I don't think where it's smoke, it's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't even like the conversation. I think like families and things like that are kind of off limits.
Yeah.
As a man, I think, certain situations are off limits.
Agreed.
And, there's really no upside, for the young man to even put himself in that position. But like I said, people could be creating a false narrative.
Correct.
People, have to have something to talk about. And so, here we are discussing it.
And that's a great point. Things are not private anymore. We're just in an all access, and fans think they're, I'm a fan, so I mean I'm one of them. But like fans in general think they're deserving or
Entitled
to have
An opinion.
Like, look, man, judge these professional athletes for how they perform at their craft.
Agreed.
And I've been through it. I've seen some of the greatest players of all time from a number of different sports, and they are not really good people as human beings. And then conversely, maybe some guys that maybe aren't the front line top name guys happen to be some of the greatest guys I've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
And so it goes both ways. But yeah, it is a world that we're in, and I know it going through my own circumstances and whatnot, what I've read and what's true and what's not true. And this is just the world we live in, man. It's that social media it's a tough spot.
Yeah, it's a whole different world than it was 10 years ago. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
And just everybody's laundry's getting aired. Speaking about laundry, Stephen A. Backpedaling. I think it's soft. I'm a big fan. I want to say this. I'm a big fan of Stephen A. Huge fan of Stephen A. Not only on his sports takes, but some of the stuff that he's done politically, coming out and being open and calling out a certain party about their antics. I got a lot of respect because he's a Democrat, and he's come out on the forefront calling them out on their bullshit.
Yeah, he's honest about it.
He's honest about it, and I got a lot of respect for him putting himself out there like that, because that could have jeopardized his career. But it's actually helped him, in my opinion. But now he's backtracking, and now Bronny gets 17 points in a game that they get blown out by Denver. Was it Denver they were playing?
I'm not sure who it was, but I know
they were playing
17-5.
somebody. It was Milwaukee. Yeah, so they're playing Milwaukee. Sorry about that. I know they played Denver a couple nights before. Yeah, so they're playing Milwaukee. They're losing, but the kid played well. But now he's backtracking, telling LeBron, "Hey, I may have made a mistake." Come on, man.
I just think sometimes I agree with you. I don't think it's a major situation, but just like dudes call bullshit when they see it, and that's bullshit. It's weak.
It's almost like it's weak.
Man,
Yeah,
make your stand
right.
and move.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, let it die already. It's over, man. Everyone saw what happened.
I think he was embarrassed in that moment when LeBron confronted him. He's taking a lot of heat. He caught a lot, a slack for what happened, and he's trying to make right, because LeBron is still the top ambassador of the NBA, and he wants to be in his good favor. He doesn't want LeBron bashing him and LeBron having beef with LeBron. That's just my opinion. He's not a good guy to pick a fight with.
Yeah. Well, the thing we love about Stephen A. is that he's opinionated, right? And he usually stands on his opinion. I think as his personality and his platform has grown, he's kind of evolved a little bit more. Instead of taking hardline stances, sometimes, he can shift a little bit. I think that's an evolution in his journalism style. But I also think there's a personal connection there, right? Having the respect of LeBron and especially in this phase of his career, right? I think, he's just trying to, keep peace, so to speak.
So one of the things I've learned as I've gotten older, you evolve as you see things, right? But in this situation here, this is a one-off game, and you've been in the NBA. I'll ask you this question. Like, to be a good pro is about consistency over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
This kid did it in one game. Now you're going to change your whole entire position. We know that Bronny got brought into the NBA way too quick. Okay, way too quick. He should have stayed in college, is my opinion. I'm not a basketball talent. I'm not a scout. But in my opinion, just watching the game, the kid should have stayed in college a couple more years. It would have done him well. And then I'm not saying he won't be a good pro.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, to backtrack and say after a 17-point game, after you had this beef with his dad, and saying, you know what, I might have gotten it wrong, you should have stuck to your guns and wait this out. Let's see what this looks 3 or 4 years from now and say, you know what, when that time happens that he is a good pro, say, look, I got it wrong. That's where you make your evolution. But it seems like you're coattailing now to LeBron because of what happened, at the crypto arena.
Well, 6'8", 270 pounds.
Make you reconsider.
Hovering over you will make you think about some things a little bit different, right? When that kind of energy is looking you in your eye and saying those different things,
right?
Like, look, I'm not a small human, right? But like, let me tell you, that guy's a Nephilim. That guy's an Anunnaki. That guy, you know what I mean? Like, it's something.
I know.
It's intimidating. And I know he's been perfect at every intersection. So people don't necessarily see that side of him. But like when a pops is trying to protect a cub and he steps to you like that, you might have to reconsider.
Right. But then the problem I have with this whole entire situation that he's reconsidering. The next day you go on Arenas' podcast, or 2 days after, talking about what LeBron did was bullshit and that it was soft. And then 3 days later, now you're like, hey man, you know what? I might have gotten this all wrong. Like, he's all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
What's the word I always use, man? It's ego. Man, that dude's ego is in the way, man. His ego got, bumped a little. And that's it. And
he got embarrassed in front of his friends and family.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah. So now, he doesn't know which way to go with this situation.
Well, just for me, I mean, obviously he's probably the biggest figure in journalism.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed. I still got a lot of respect for him.
And so at the end of the day, he'll find his rhythm again. He'll recalibrate and he'll find, another situation. But, like I said, man, Bronny is very young.
Mm-hmm.
He has a world of upside. I always bring it back to the business side. Bronny brings attention to the game, whether it's through his father or whatever. People put eyes on him. They check for him as well, right? So the G League team, attendance-wise, is doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing very well in the G League.
Mm-hmm.
He has a big social media imprint and gets a lot of impressions. And so even though he's, Bronny Jr., right, he still has an impact on the game just because of his affiliation.
Of course.
And so he will get, judged accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
But I also believe that Stephen A. said when he looked at that kid in that kid's eyes and he saw sadness, that resonated with him. And so I don't think his apology or his backtracking was for LeBron.
It was more for
I
Bronny.
think it was more like to kind of reconcile with the young man and kind of make him, feel fulfilled about him throwing him in the fire.
Got it.
I love this guy.
I know, right? That's a
He
great
really,
point.
man.
It's a great point.
I'm just saying.
I mean, he's
I'm just saying.
life coach, man.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to book a session with you.
I
But
got
like, man, I got a lot. I got dudes talking in my head, and I don't even have ears. But it's great getting a former pro athlete's perspective, man. Everyone just runs around with their own narrative, and it's good hearing it. Like,
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
way.
Yeah, he's opened up my eyes to a lot of different things. Just
Yeah.
because he's been there. You've been in the fire, right? So it's like in my business, if you come ask me something about healthcare, you might have a certain notion of how it works. But, dude, I've been in it 22 years. I'm going to tell you, nah, it's kind of like this.
Right.
And that's the kind of perspective you bring to the show, and it's great to hear.
Well, thank you, man.
Not that I agree 100% with everything you say. But
I know that's right.
All right, transitioning. Local story, Hialeah kid. I think his family's Cuban, so it hits home for me. Jesse Ascarate. I don't know if you guys have seen it circulating on Instagram and all the platforms. He's a backup catcher. He was an Uber driver, and he got back into the game, and he made the Yankees roster. And that video with his mom got me crying this morning
Yeah.
when I saw that, man, because that hit home for me, man.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's what sports is about, man. Those moments right there, and seeing that kid has worked his whole entire life. He's 29 years old, and to get that opportunity, even though he's the back, who cares?
Right.
Yeah.
You made a Yankees roster. Think about that. The most decorated, one of the most decorated sports franchises in the world
Of all time.
of all time. And with what Coach Boone did to him was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
It was messed up, but it was funny though.
Yeah.
Telling him, it seemed like he was gonna cut him. And he told me, "That's it, man. I can't keep it going. You made the team."
Man, what an incredible human story.
Mhm.
I don't care if you like the team, you don't like the team, whatever it is, man. Just as another human to see someone experience that joy and then share with his mom, and who knows what the journey's been. Incredible. That's like amazing.
Yeah, it was
Great.
it was
Great story.
beautiful.
There's
I wanna see.
not enough of that stuff
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah. No, for me, it's like this, man. It's something in the water down here in South Florida. Like, we have this stick-to-itiveness that we like as far as being athletic, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, soccer, whatever it is, whether it's throwing your hands or whatever it is. Man, we're resilient down here, right? And we got work ethic down here, right? And we grit, we grind, and I love to see it. I love to see it. You could hear that, like, when one person from your family makes it as a professional athlete, you can hear the love of his mother on that call, right? Because there's sacrifices that they had to make. Especially in baseball, there's a lot of coaching that they have to pay for. There's a lot of, there's a whole bunch of different things. And so to be driving Uber and now playing at Yankee Stadium, man, that's the American dream. That's the American dream.
So let me tell you, I always tell people the best gift that's God's given. He's given me too. My wife and me being first generation in this country. And I know that kid's first generation just because hearing his mom, it was my mom that
For
I was
sure.
listening to on that call. And, when you're first generation, and a lot of people here that live in Miami are first generation, right? Because their parents come from somewhere else, that hunger that you have,
For sure.
that resiliency, and when you make it, you made it in the greatest country that this world's ever seen. It's such a impactful thing, not only for your family but for your community, and it's a beautiful thing, man. I had to give this kid a shout out because I felt that I was in his place.
Yeah, man. Sports will allow you to see a piece of yourself in others.
Agreed.
And in their stories.
Agreed.
And that's why it's so much attention around it, because it's bigger than just the game, right? It's about, like, seeing a piece of yourself on that story. And it's a beautiful story. I'm glad you covered it. I can't wait to show my son it.
Me too. Well, not my son. I want to show it to my daughter,
Yeah.
Emma, and show her that you only don't have a chance when you stop trying.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you keep on and you keep on and you keep on and you keep on, eventually you're going to get your shot.
As long as you're above the ground, man,
Yeah,
you're
that's
in the
right.
game.
You're in the game.
That's right.
Absolutely.
It's a fact. You're talking to two guys that can speak on that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, boys. Well, another great show.
Welcome back, Andy.
Thank you. Good to be back. Getting my flow back. And we'll see you guys again next week.
Already.
All
Good
right.
job.
You got
Awesome.
it.
See you.
Harry on the narrative. Best in class, so pray for my peers. Slingshot bullet that's clear. Your weak shots couldn't pierce through bulletproof ears. A martyr, a menace. I'm leading horses to drink and pulling teeth like I'm feeding the dentist. Harry on the narrative.